戦するからよく見ろ証明してあげるよ何度も失敗して気が落ちるけど次やる時はきっとうまくいくだろう繰り返しても諦めるのは早いぞ
In a world full of mediocre anime podcasts, this is slightly better than that. Welcome to the Anime Egotists.
Well, you're not going to introduce yourself?
I thought you were gonna have a response to that. I don't know. Anyways, you got me, Alex. Yada yada yada. Smell the coffee. Wake up and smell the beans.
Okay, and I'm Richard.
And he doesn't have anything else for us. Now, we are the Anime Egotists, and we talk about Pokemon a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And, yeah, we talk about it quite a bit. But we were also wondering, what exactly... Pokemon, what would our teams be?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about we've mentioned this, I think, in worlds we would have wanted to live in the anime world. We've talked about our favorites, probably, like our favorite starter specifically, a lot on this. We've always made jokes about being that much better than the protagonists.
Those aren't jokes.
Yeah.
Those aren't jokes. You got a problem, buddy? You got a problem? You want to take a swing?
No, we're good.
No, but we will be taking a swing. I mean, because if we were in the Pokemon universe, we'd be willing to battle with each other, specifically with the teams we have today.
Yeah, and again, these are, in my mind at least, these are teams that, as of June 2021, these are the teams that we would like to be able to have used in this universe. These are the Pokemon that we want at this point. Mine, I will admit, has changed over the years. New Pokemon slide in and out just based on how I'm feeling at the time. But as of June 2021, this is the team I would make.
Yeah, it's not necessarily these are the only Pokemon we like. It's just a matter of this is who we'd have on our team. We'd switch them out every now and then, of course. But, of course. Anyways, this video has been your idea for the longest time, so I kind of feel like you should start and, more or less set a template for us.
Okay. One more thing. These are not competitive teams. Neither of us have ever really delved into that, as far as I know. I don't believe you've ever done it.
Nope.
I know a little bit about it, like how to build a team, but again, these are our favorites. We're going kind of anime logic. They don't have to be balanced. They don't have to be completely type specific or anything. So that's just fair warning.
And that's right. And if you want to tell us what your team would be and become a friend of the show, please subscribe and comment and all that jazz. Share it with your friends. Also, we're on Apple Podcasts now, so if that helps.
Yep. All right. So I guess if I'm getting started, I'm just going to start with my starter Pokemon. I've mentioned this a ton.
Also, no legendaries on my team.
I didn't put any either on mine.
Okay, good.
There was no rule against it, but I didn't have any on mine.
Anyways, continue.
My starter Pokemon, of course, would have been Totodile, which ends up being Feraligatr. So this one actually has a very personal connection. When I was first getting into Pokemon, I had Pokemon Yellow, and then I had Pokemon Crystal. And I reached a point, and I think it was the Azalea Forest. I mean, I was like 5 and barely understood the games. And I thought I beat the games in Azalea Forest. And it's like, so my cousin ended up helping me. He's a few years older. He understood the games and how to play. And this was his favorite Pokemon at the time. And of course became my favorite Pokemon through this familial connection. So and of course it continued to grow. And I just have loved Feraligatr. I've used it pretty much every playthrough I've ever done of any of the original Gen 2 games or the remakes. I think I've done maybe one with each of the other two, and in the end, I ended up trading those Pokemon over to whichever version I was using with my for alligator. So I had all three starters.
Now, let's not forget that time in college when you were just basically giving away hordes of Totodiles and all that other jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can co-sign on to that. So I guess my starter, or Mudkip slash, basically evolves into Swampert. Okay, basically, besides the nostalgia factor of this was the first Pokemon, of Sapphire being the first real Pokemon game I own, and Mudkip being the very first star, it's just a cool Pokemon. It can block electricity, it can sense stuff, it's super fast, specifically in the water. Not to mention its Mega Evolution, its arms get jacked, and it's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous looking, but I would have it. It would probably be the strongest member of my team. Not to mention as I've said before, it doesn't have that strong of a presence in the anime compared to other starters. So I could just show up with it and they'd be like, "This is my bird. This is my bird now. I take control. I'm in charge now."
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, there's been maybe one or two showings, I mean, of both of these Pokemon, at least in their final evolutions. We've seen a good bit more of Totodile and Mudkip, thanks to Brock and Ash having those in the anime.
Well, also Marshtomp, because remember the Marshtomp episode of Journeys.
True.
Yeah, but there's not that much of a reason, but just besides it looks cool, and plus every time I battle Ash, he'd be like, "Use Thunderbolt," and I wouldn't even tell him, "Oh, you know it doesn't work." I'd be like, "Okay, fine, go for it. Let's see what happens here."
Yeah. Unfortunately, that would definitely happen a good bit.
Yeah. Anyways, who's your next Pokemon, big guy?
All right. So my next one is actually a very recent addition. I mean, it's Gen 8, and that's Corviknight.
Okay, cool.
When this Pokemon was revealed, I thought, okay, it's going to be another Skarmory late game. You can only find them on like the route on Victory Road route or something, because just its design didn't scream regional bird to me. I thought, again, like Skarmory being at the end of the Gen 2 games, you're not going to catch these really early. So my surprise was when they released Rookity and Corvisquire, and it's like, oh no, this is the Gen 8 regional bird. I'm like, okay, that's actually kind of awesome. And I love the design of its armor. And the fact that it's used as a taxi is kind of interesting throughout the entire new generation.
Yeah, it's gonna suck though when we get to the episode where your Corviknight wants to be a taxi and then you have to let it go for some arbitrary, stupid reason like that.
Yeah, it's like, well, you could be my taxi.
And it just looks at you with disgust.
No,
Yeah,
I just
but
really like it.
Corviknight is Corviknight's one of those Pokemon I feel like nobody really hates. Like the second it was introduced, people were like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" Despite the fact that apparently it's steel and flying, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, because a lot of people said, "Oh, is it going to be dark and flying?" I'm like, as cool as that would be, I don't think it is.
No, it's supposed to be metal armor on it, so that's where that comes from.
Yeah, I can co-sign on to that. So if you're going to talk your flying Pokemon on your taxi, I guess I should talk about mine. Staraptor.
Okay.
It literally has the name Raptor in it. I don't really feel like I have to say anything else, but not to mention, it's the Staraptor I always had in the game was always super strong and super fast. Like, well, more when I started to level up. I'm like, okay, maybe a level 30 Pokemon towards the 7th gym isn't the best idea. How about I actually just start giving this thing rare candies and all that? And it would learn Brave Bird and Aerial and all this other awesome stuff. Not to mention, it just looks super cool. And it's one of the bigger flying Pokemon, I feel like, so I wouldn't feel that bad about riding on its back.
It's really weird because from what I remember, it's supposed to be one of the larger ones, but then in the anime they make it smaller than Pidgeot, and then which is kind of weird, I think.
Yeah, a little bit. At the same time, though, it doesn't just learn. It doesn't just have to learn flying moves. I could have it like spit fire at somebody as I'm flying by, just destroying cities and laughing all the way. I'm like, oh, sorry, Vermilion City, but that's what you get. That's what you get. You put us on a boat with Team Rocket individuals. You kind of had it coming.
No, but I can sign on to that for Star Raptor. It was one of my favorites. I always kind of liked Pidgeot better, but that was just random kind of, and Noctowl was one of my favorites as well. But
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this doesn't really add to anything, but the Star Raptor I used in like Diamond and Pearl and stuff was generally a girl. That was never on purpose or anything. I just happened to catch it that way. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
yeah, and isn't the first one Starly? Doesn't it have a gender difference on the face or something?
I don't know. Probably.
I know that was like the last generation they actually did that.
Yeah, they don't do that much anymore. It's kind of upsetting, but what you gonna do?
All right, so my next one is Lucario. Again, this is actually a combination of watching the movies because I was like, oh, that's actually a really cool Pokemon when I first saw Lucario and the Mystery of Mew.
It was a great movie too.
Yeah, and
we should get around to doing that Pokemon movies.
Yeah, that's just so y'all know that is on our list of things to do, but we just
don't necessarily know how to go about doing it, whether it's doing it this traditional way or it may be something else. But sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
It's all good. And then because it came out slightly before the games actually came out, so the mystery of trying to find Lucario in the games originally for me, because this was kind of at the point where I now understood the games, knew that there was usually some sort of hidden, not legendary, but pretty good Pokemon that I was needed to try to find. So eventually going to the Iron Island, and I started doing that thing with, oh God, I always forget his name.
Riley?
Yeah, and getting like partway through and going, well, I've got a whole bunch of good items. Okay, going back, and I ditched him, and then like later finding out, oh, if I lead him here, he gives me an egg, and then hatching it. That was a lot of fun trying to find Lucario originally.
You know, he would have given it to you earlier, but the second he saw you ditching him, he's like, oh, screw that guy. I'm keeping this egg.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I will say, though, part of the thing for me is Lucario. I feel like Lucario's kind of been overexposed at this point because, spoiler alert for Journeys, however long you want to wait, Ash has one now, and it's kind of... Oh, we'll talk about the problems with it the next time we review Pokemon Journeys, which whenever it decides to come out.
Hopefully next month.
I'd like to hope so. But I like Lucario. I still think it's really good. Plus, the Mega Evolution is pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd also have to get in touch with your aura, and you're like not a good person. So I'm not really sure Lucario would want to stick around for that.
What if I have an evil Lucario?
That's not going to go well. Because then I'll be forced to save the day, and I'll be like, no, never mind. I'm going back to bed. I'm going back to bed. Forget this.
All right. So your next Pokemon?
Okay, so this one's a little bit of an, I don't know. I don't really know why I have this one on my list. I just really like it. Meowstick.
Okay.
I don't know. I just think it's a really fascinating, cool looking Pokemon, and it's a psychic type, which of course was everybody's favorite for the longest time, and that sort of thing. And I would know for sure that I want to be the predominantly blue one, so the male one. And not that necessarily makes that much of a difference from what I can tell, but I still like it. Not to mention, I don't know. They always looked really cool, especially in the anime, especially when the two of them were paired together. So if I ever got a female one, decide to use them both together, it would make for a pretty badass team.
Yeah, that's actually a really, in my opinion, underrated choice because, I mean, a lot of people I don't think would say that, but they are really cool looking Pokemon. And I do have to agree. When they were introduced in the anime, especially in the gym battle in Gen 6, they were really cool because it was something we haven't really seen uh, that I can really remember a really good psychic battle since in a long time.
I was about to say, I mean, we all know what happened with the Thunder Armor. That was not good, and we've talked.
Was that really the last one before?
Probably not, but I feel people don't talk about them all that much because normal people, like the main characters in Pokemon, don't catch a lot of psychic Pokemon.
That is true. I mean,
Like the biggest example was Psyduck, and Psyduck's not even a psychic Pokemon; it's just new confusion.
yeah, you're right. I mean, the only other one was the Haunter, and that not even psychic. That was the whole original psychic battle story.
Yeah, and technically Ash didn't even catch it. It's just like, oh, hey, want to come with me? And then just start following him for like one episode. Not to mention, and I just looked this up, apparently male meow, like there's a good reason I picked male over female, because apparently male Meowstic are known for using their full power to protect their friends and themselves, while female Meowstic are generally more selfish.
Yeah, is that from like the Pokedex entry?
Supposedly, yes. I'm like, setting that up by gender could be somewhat problematic, but we're in the Pokemon anime. We don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
We don't have to worry about gender equality and all that stuff.
All right, so my next one, and that would be Metagross. Specifically, I would want a shiny Metagross. Again, you kind of got me back into the modern Pokemon after these games had come out, so I didn't get the event one that happened. So I spent a good bit of my time trying to find a shiny Beldum or shiny Metang or a shiny Metagross that was being reasonably traded for on the GTS, not wanting a level 100 shiny legendary or something.
Oh no, you just have to. That's the trick. You just have to put in like you could put in like Zigzagoon, but I want I want a Beldum or shiny whatever, and people will just give it to you. People's standards for tradings are oddly high, except if you find the people who will give you literally anything for it. It's weird.
That is true, but I spent a good bit of time trying to catch one on it was Pokemon Sun and Moon when they were on the mountain. I chain caught them. I did or I guess it was Ultra Sun because they had the distress call. So trying to get one, and I think it took me a while, but I finally had a Beldum call one, and I was able to catch it. And I was so happy when I got that finally. It was actually one of my first legit shiny hunting where I didn't just find it in the wild and didn't use one of the special things like where in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire where they can come up and their tail wags and you might find a shiny if you chain it.
I was about to say most of the time I catch shiny Pokemon, it's either through events or I just happen to stumble upon them. Like, oh, well, I already have an Oddish, but let me grab this one. Cool.
Yeah, but I just really like the silver and gold design of the shiny Metagross. So that's kind of why I picked this one. And of course, its Mega is actually really awesome.
I was about to say, how many Pokemon are your team going to make? Well, I guess we'll get to it at the end. But yeah, it could definitely work. Plus it. Remember, it's supposedly super smart, so you'd be set for that.
That is true.
Yeah. Anyways, Okay, here we go. All right, so I guess one of the ones that, and you said Metagross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to go with another Gen 3. I have 2 more Gen 3 Pokemon here. Breloom. Honestly, the thing about Breloom was I never really encountered that many when I was playing Ruby and Sapphire, and I thought Shroomish, I'm like, it's cool, but it's not really what I'm looking for on my team right now. But the second I saw it evolves into Breloom and just how much bigger and how it becomes a fighting type and all that, it's really, really cool looking. Like when it learns Drain Punch, Energy Ball, all this other stuff. Not to mention, I just think Grass and Fighting is just such a unique typing. I'm kind of surprised we don't have more of those to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I was not a fan of Shroomish. I think I saw it in the anime before I actually found one because it's like that 5% encounter in the forest between the two cities.
Yeah, basically
Gen
that.
3. So I saw in the anime where it had like its own standalone episode in Gen 3. I just didn't like it, and never really knew Breloom existed because there's like one trainer that used it in Gen 3, and that was it.
I think somebody used it in Gen 4 too, but I honestly can't even remember.
But yeah, I pretty much didn't know it existed until I finally caught a Shroomish, and then was just playing around leveling up Pokemon, and Shroomish evolved.
Yeah, not to mention, since it also feeds on, bless you, it also feeds on decomposing trees and plants. I feel like I wouldn't even have to pay that much for food for it. I'd be like, I'd just let it go, and I'd be like, all right, go eat, figure something out, maybe bring back some ingredients or stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems like an interesting one, and I tend to agree. It is a really cool design.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go. Apparently, Kenny from Diamond and Pearl, he used a Breloom. Mine would be better, not because of that Breloom in particular. It's just mine would be raised by me, and Kenny. Well, Kenny needs to learn not to suck.
Ah.
Yeah, but that's it. That's all. I'd have a Breloom on my team, and Kenny needs to learn not to suck. Yeah, I said it again. What's your next one?
All right, so my next one is Gyarados. This one's just I really like the idea of the Pokemon going from pretty much the weakest Pokemon that possibly exists in Magikarp to one of the strongest, at least in Gen 1. And then, of course, I always really enjoyed the Shiny Gyarados storyline in the Gen 2 games.
Would it be a shiny Gyarados?
No, I do like the blue Gyarados better than the red. That's
Okay.
just my personal opinion about it. I always used the red Gyarados because it was kind of the unique. You're pretty much given it, except for you do have to battle and catch it. But I always liked the blue Gyarados better. It's just, again, I guess it's another Pokemon that Mega Evolves, but that I don't need it to Mega Evolve.
I was about to say, dude, you're gonna have to keep track of so many mega stones and stuff like that. Like that's not gonna be fun. Well, let's also not forget Gyarados is technically is also a flying Pokemon.
That is true. Again, these teams are not balanced for like competitive at all.
I feel like my team,
Well, yours is probably.
I feel like advantage wise, my team is pretty stacked. Like maybe stat wise, not so much, but I don't all care about that.
Yeah, that is true.
Because if that's the case, our teams would be the same as like everybody else's, just slightly different, but still.
Yeah, but Gyarados, and I always liked. God, I'm trying to remember. There was a specific episode with Gyarados and Team Rocket. Oh, it's the you mentioned it earlier, where they get on the boat and then James buys the Magikarp from the dealer.
Yeah, and then he kicks it and then evolves. I'm like, wait, Pokemon can evolve from rage? That doesn't seem right.
It kind of makes sense for Magikarp, though.
Yeah, no, I understand. I hope you would be nice to your Magikarp if you had one before it evolved. I hope you would be nice to it.
Oh yeah, I would. I have a feeling I might end up acting like Misty towards hers, where she's like, it's so cute, and it like snuggles up to her for some reason.
And it meanwhile just burned down half a village. It's like, it's so adorable. I'm like, most of these people are dying. We should. Oh wait, there are like 2 hospitals in the world. Everything else is a Pokemon Center. Yeah, that's on y'all. That's definitely on you guys. It's somewhat on Richard, but still.
Man, Gyarados, it has a little bit of a temper. It's fine.
Of course. Anyways, my next one.
Go right ahead.
My next one. Oh, here we go. I got lost track for a second. Shedinja. I just think it's a really cool Pokemon. And I know of the little thing where it's like, oh, well, if its health sucks when it goes up against a type disadvantage. But here's the thing. I don't care. I really don't care. I just think it's a cool looking Pokemon. Not to mention, it's basically a hollow shell. And that's not an insult. It's literally a hollow shell. And I also love how you basically get it by having your Nincada evolve into a Ninjask, and you just happen to have a Pokeball space open. Because the first time I did that, I'm like, wait, what's this other Pokemon? What is this? I'm like, oh, that's how you get it. Weird, but okay.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a glitch the first time I did that, and deleted my save file and started over.
Good God.
And
Good
you
God,
gotta remember,
man.
this was before the internet was popular for Pokemon to be able to go look up what this was. And I don't think I hadn't seen the episodes where Misty comes back and this Pokemon's introduced in the anime. So,
Yeah, and that thing was overpowered as hell in that episode.
so yeah, but once I found out what it was, I've never actually tried to use one on my team. I've wanted to. I've actually got my Omega Ruby Sap. Yeah, I think has a new save file, so I may try playing through that and adding that to my team. I think that would be an interesting playthrough.
Yeah, that would be fun. Not to mention, also, if it says something along the lines of if you look into the empty space, it can steal somebody's spirit. That would be so much fun. Just showing my shit into the people, it just starts stealing people's souls and stuff like that.
Hey, look at this!
Not to mention, it doesn't seem like there's a way of getting them back. So I'm like, that's what you get for pissing me off. That's what you get for not acknowledging me.
All right. So my final Pokemon for this team of Pokemon that I would want to use.
I was about to say good because I didn't have honorable mentions.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of Pokemon I really love that that they sometimes wish that they had like a 10-team thing, but
Good
that would be
Lord.
that would be a little extreme.
Yeah, I was about to say, you say
stuff.
I know you meant 10 Pokemon, but you said 10 teams, so that makes me think everybody would have 60 Pokemon. That would take so fucking long.
Okay, so right now the last Pokemon on my team is Houndoom.
Okay, I was not expecting that.
I've always struggled to actually obtain this Pokemon in games, mainly because I always end up somehow getting the version that they're on the other one when it comes to specifically Gen 2. I always played Crystal, which you couldn't find it until I think post game maybe, or you had to trade for it. I don't really remember which ones were.
Yeah, I remember because a lot of people struggled catching it when it first showed up.
And then I had Gold. I never had Silver until I had my 3DS and bought the Virtual Console version. So
Right.
really struggled to find Houndoom.
Is it all like do you also want it because it's basically a dog, and I know you and I both love dogs?
Well, that's part of it.
Okay,
just
just
on my team.
just wanted to be sure. Nothing against that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, this was just one that I always found really awesome. Always wanted to use, but could never find it. And so I would love to be able to have one on my team. And it's one of those that always seems to appear in the background, like when they've had like a large Pokemon Center and Team Rocket steals all the Pokemon. Houndoom is somewhere in the Pokemon Center, just in the background.
Yeah, or something like, "Oh, hey, are you ready? Hey, May, are you ready for your next contest?" And it shows this whole group of people and some of these with their Houndoom. It's part of that cliche we've talked about where people just stand in the background and do absolutely nothing, and you're wondering, are they frozen? Or did the writers tell them, "Hey, if anybody moves, we swear to God, there will be no donuts backstage next time"? Like, is that like what happens there? But yeah, I understand. It's mainly in the background. People don't seem to use it mainstream that much in the anime.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even think competitive wise it was ever, even after it got a Mega itself, it wasn't used that much either.
God, okay, how many Pokemon do you have that are Mega on your list? Just because 4, good guy. And you're always saying, "Oh, I can't for Alligator have a Mega Evolution." I'm like, well, you have 4 Pokemon on your team that have it. I'm not sure it's completely necessary at this point.
I know, but yeah, again, I may do a video on my own about why Alligator needs a Mega and they need to bring Mega back, but
Oh, I'll try. We need Mega back. I like Gigantamax and I like Dynamaxing, which is why I've saved that one for last. But it's not the same as Mega Evolution, and Z moves weren't it for me.
yeah, it was the difference between getting powered up for most of a battle versus getting powered up for a single move that once you've used it, you're done.
Yeah, and then Gigantamax and Dynamax is like, let's power you up for like a little bit. But to me, that makes a little more sense that the power goes away after a bit.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Yeah. But anyways, any other reasons for Houndoom? Does it like steal people's spirits? Does it like make them do the mariachi or something like that?
I do remember that it has like a burn from its flames will never heal correctly and will leave pain for the pain of burning for like the rest of their lives.
That's a lot of people don't know, but in Avatar: The Last Airbender, that's actually what happened. Instead of Ozai burning Zuko himself, he sent out his Houndoom to do it for him.
And that's why he got obsessed with honor. He went insane from the pain.
Yeah, not to mention all those weird combinations of animals in Avatar. It wouldn't completely surprise me if Pokemon was in Avatar were slightly connected universes. Holy crap! I just thought of that.
Stay tuned for our next video.
Oh gosh. Anyways, my last one.
Go right ahead.
Toxtricity, specifically amped form, the yellow form, the purple and yellow. I always thought this was one of the coolest looking Pokemon in Sword and Shield. When I first got the egg for Toxel and it hatched, because this is one of those Pokemon I wasn't spoiled for thanks to stupid game leaks. Side note, I find it hilarious that people are like, that people hated Sun and Moon for how much they learned about it through leaks and releases and stuff like that. And then when Sword and Shield was slowly coming out, they're like, we don't know enough. And then they leaked everything and got upset. Good job, fans. Good job. Anyways, Toxtricity is just a cool looking Pokemon like Toxel when I first got it, and it had like a diaper and it was like kind of slow. I'm like, I mean, it's cool, but I'm going to keep nursing it and seeing because I'm not completely impressed. And then the second it evolved and I saw it, I'm like, oh my god, this thing is so cool. Not to mention it can basically play guitar with its body.
Yeah, this was one of, I think, my favorites as well. I ended up getting the what is it, low amped form?
It is. I have it right here. It's low key
form. From the one that I got in the from the egg.
Yeah,
that you get in the game.
And you got Sword, right?
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't. What it evolves into doesn't matter which one it is. It's more matters on its nature. But I was just curious about that. Not to mention, its Gigantamax form is flippin' insane. It basically takes a tail on its body, uses it as a guitar, and it'll just swing it at people.
I do wish that this had been the pseudo legendary because it would have been a unique typing for a pseudo.
Yeah, not to mention electric and poison. That is awesome. Now when it goes up against a ground Pokemon, that's gonna be a little bit of an issue. But that's why I have other Pokemon on my team. That's why I have Swampert and Breloom, and to a degree Staraptor, because not that it has a type in Magic, but it can avoid ground attacks. But back to Toxtricity, I love its Gigantamax form. It has a really cool design. It was one of my strongest Pokemon in Sword and Shield. And not to mention, as rough and tough and kind of like a delinquent as it looks, whenever it looked over at me during Pokemon Camp, it would always give me the friendliest looking smile. And I'm like, oh, don't do that. I know you're causing trouble, but I see that smile on your face, so I immediately want to forgive you.
I just pictured like the creepiest smile for some reason.
Oh no, it's legitimately one of the friendliest smiles out there. Maybe I'll send you a picture of it if I can find it.
Okay, yeah, I tend to agree. This it was one of my favorites, especially once I went in the wild area and caught a Gigantamax one, and then it turned out to be the amped form, and I had switched out my Bolt Hound for that one.
You switched out what for it? I'm sorry about that.
I've been using Bolt Hound since I caught the whatever I always forget its first name or its first evolution. It's the Corgi Pokemon that we got.
Oh, Yamper.
Yamper, yeah.
I was about to say, Chloe has a Yamper, right?
Yeah. I've been spoiled for a few things. Oh, looks like you sent me the image.
I was about to say, I can't wait till we talk about Pokemon Journey. Because we're all getting spoiled for stuff, but I really want to talk about it like as fast as possible with you and I don't know. Apparently, he might be going through a name change or something. But Jogger Joe, I'd love because the last review we did with him was fun. Specifically, when we asked the hard hitting questions like, "Is Raihan black?" That was a good one. But overall, Toxicity, that's our team. So just to run things down completely, I'm going to say my team for everybody who is for anybody who was forgetting: Swampert, Breloom, Shedinja, Male Meowstick, Toxtricity, Amptworm, and Staraptor.
All right. And my team was Feraligatr, Corviknight, Lucario, Metagross, Gyarados, and Houndoom.
Nice. Also, just a small little thing. I feel like my Meowstick and my Toxtricity would not get along that much, but they'd be a great team together.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of my team have matching typings. I've got 3 Pokemon that all have Steel type, 2 Water types, 2 Flying types. Yeah, so my team has some balancing issues right now.
Well, let's see for me. Water Ground, Grass Fighting, Ghost Bug. Yeah, that's right. 8. Psychic, Electropoison, and Flying Fighting. So there's not that much. Like, everybody
Yours is more balanced. So again, don't try to use these teams if you're really wanting to win in competitive.
Or do. And if you win, please give us credit. I would love for someone to be like, "Yeah, I won with your team." I'm like, "How?" I mean, of course you did. And no matter how much you love or hate either of our teams, just know both of these teams will probably outplay our fantasy football teams because that's tragic.
I had beginner's luck our first year and then never won again.
I will say though, I trust Swampert to be a quarterback far more than most of the quarterbacks I've had.
No, I've had some good quarterbacks.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, guys, what would your teams be? Whose team did you think was better? Mine or Richard's? It's mine. But let us know. Let us know, just like I said, what your teams are, which of our teams you liked more, and just anything else. There's not really a whole lot to talk about in that regard.
Let us know if you want us to do this again, but go have special rules. We could do individual generation teams. Something along those lines.
Which we kind of did for Brendan and Ethan. I mean, sort of. There were a couple of outsiders, but anything. Or, like, would you like us both to do, like, legendaries? That would be kind of interesting. A team full of legendaries.
Yeah, just let us know if you want us to continue this or go back to our top 10 lists and other discussions.
I mean, we're going to keep doing the top 10 list regardless, but they understand what you mean. Anyways, we will catch you later. This has been Alex.
And Richard.
And you've been listening to the Anime Egotists. Good night, and peace easy.